Seriously interesting research on quantum decoherence and decay, and how scientists are working, like really working hard to control these, well, these super delicate quantum states.
Oh yeah, it really is a field just full of surprises.
So we're ready because we're going to jump headfirst into the, well, the mind-bending world of quantum mechanics, right?
Absolutely. And what's really exciting is how these kind of abstract quantum phenomena, I mean, they're actually key to developing technologies like quantum computers.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Like, what exactly is quantum decoherence?
Well, you can think about it kind of like a quantum system losing its quantumness.
Losing its quantumness. Okay.
Yeah. Imagine a coin spinning in the air, right? And that's representing the quantum state.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a superposition, meaning it's both heads and tails at the same time, right?
Right, at the same time.
Yeah. But then, like, tiny interactions with the environment, I mean, even something as small as air molecules bumping into it, cause the coin to fall flat, landing on either heads or tails.
Okay.
So that's basically decoherence, like the fragile quantum state collapsing into a classical outcome.
So it's like the environment is constantly measuring the quantum system. Is that right?
Exactly. And this measurement problem, it's a huge challenge for quantum computing because qubits, which are like the building blocks of quantum computers,
Right.
they need to maintain these superpositions to perform those complex calculations that make them so powerful.
So decoherence is kind of like a constant enemy then.
Yeah.
It's like it's constantly trying to disrupt these, these delicate quantum states.
Totally.
It sounds like scientists are facing a really uphill battle here.
Yeah, they really are. And it gets even more complex when we think about it, because there are different types of decoherence processes.
Okay.
For example, there's this thing called amplitude damping,
Okay.
and it's kind of like the energy of the quantum state, like slowly leaking away, like if you think of a guitar string gradually losing its vibration.
Ah, I see. So it's not just about the environment disrupting the superposition.
Right.
It's also about the inherent tendency of some of these quantum states to like lose their energy over time.
Exactly. Exactly.
So how do scientists, how do they even begin to protect these fragile qubits from decoherence?
Well, they've actually come up with some very, very ingenious techniques. Like one approach is called dynamical decoupling.
Dynamical decoupling. Okay.
Imagine you're trying to listen to a faint melody, but there's a lot of noise around you.
Okay.
Dynamical decoupling is like using noise-canceling headphones to block out the distractions so you can hear the music.
So it's like filtering out the environmental noise to protect the qubits' quantum music.
Precisely.
Okay.
And this technique it's led to some remarkable breakthroughs. Like researchers have been able to increase the coherence time of qubits, the length of time they can maintain their superposition,
Right.
using dynamical decoupling. And actually a team at the University of Chicago, they managed to keep a qubit in superposition for several seconds.
Wow, seconds.
Which is a huge leap forward.
That's got to be a long time in the quantum world, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it gives us hope that building large-scale, fault-tolerant quantum computers might actually be possible.
Wow.
But of course, decoherence isn't the only challenge.
Right, right.
We also have quantum decay.
Right, we touched on that earlier. If decoherence is like the environment crashing in on our quantum state,
Right.
then how is decay different from that?
It's more like an inherent instability within the system itself.
Okay.
Like think of a sandcastle slowly crumbling away, from the wind and tide. Even if you protect it from the waves, it will eventually disintegrate just because of its own fragility.
So we're talking about two distinct but equally challenging problems,
Yeah.
environmental decoherence and then this intrinsic decay.
Hmm.
So is it possible to control both of these processes?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And the answer, it seems, is, to some extent, yes.
Okay.
We've talked about techniques like dynamical decoupling
Right.
to protect qubits from environmental noise. But what about controlling decay, which seems much more fundamental to the nature of these quantum states? So it turns out that decay, it isn't entirely random.
Okay.
Different quantum systems, they have different inherent decay rates, and it's often described by something called a half-life.
Half-life. Okay.
The time it takes for half of the system to decay.
Right.
And while we can't completely eliminate decay,
Right.
understanding these rates and the factors that influence them might allow us to kind of nudge the probabilities in our favor.
So we're not just trying to protect the sandcastle from the waves.
Right.
We're also trying to figure out how to make the sand itself more resilient.
Yeah, exactly. It's much more subtle and challenging, but it's an area where there's a lot of research going on.
Okay.
For example, scientists are exploring ways to to manipulate the energy levels within a quantum system to make certain states more stable.
So, okay, so we've got these two quantum gremlins to deal with,
Yeah.
decoherence and decay. And scientists are coming up with these like really clever ways to try and control them. But I gotta ask, like, why even go through all this trouble? Like, what's the real world impact of being able to control these quantum phenomena?
Well, that's where things get really exciting. Let's start with quantum computing. Imagine being able to solve problems that are basically impossible for even the most powerful supercomputers today.
Right.
Problems related to like drug discovery, materials, science, financial modeling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
It's like unlocking a whole new level of computational power.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
And what about, I know this came up in the research, this idea of topological qubits.
Right.
They sound kind of mind-boggling.
They are. Imagine you're encoding information in a knot.
Okay.
Even if you pull on parts of the knot, the information that's encoded in its topology, its overall shape,
Right.
remains intact.
Okay.
So that's the basic idea behind these topological qubits. They're inherently more resistant to decoherence
Okay.
because the information isn't stored in a single fragile quantum state.
Mm-hmm.
It's stored in the global properties of the system.
So it's like a super robust way of storing quantum information.
Yeah,
Makes it much harder for the environment to kind of mess with it.
exactly. And there are different types of topological qubits.
Okay. Are there?
Yeah. One very promising type, it relies on something called Majorana fermions,
Majorana fermions.
which are these strange particles that are, get this, their own antiparticles.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can emerge in certain materials under specific conditions.
Okay.
And scientists believe that they could be used to create these incredibly stable topological qubits.
Wow. That's getting pretty deep into like the quantum weirdness.
It is. It is.
But I'm starting to see how controlling these delicate quantum states could lead to some really like revolutionary technologies.
Yeah.
And it's not just quantum computing, right? What about quantum sensing?
Ah, yes. Quantum sensing, this is another really, really exciting area.
Okay.
Imagine being able to detect like these minute changes in gravity or magnetic fields
Okay.
with just unbelievable precision.
Wow.
This could completely revolutionize fields like navigation.
Okay.
It could allow for like these super accurate GPS systems that don't even rely on satellites.
I can see how that would be really useful, especially in places where GPS signals are weak or unreliable.
Exactly.
What are there other potential applications for quantum sensing?
Oh, absolutely. Think about medical imaging. We could detect tiny tumors
Okay.
or other abnormalities far earlier than current methods allow, which could lead to, earlier diagnoses and more effective treatments.
Right.
Or imagine using these quantum sensors to monitor environmental changes like subtle shifts in the Earth's magnetic field
Wow.
that could signal an impending earthquake, for example.
It's like having superhuman senses.
Yeah, it really is.
And then there's quantum communication, which I gotta admit always makes me think of like, secret agents and unbreakable code.
Yes, you're not far off. Quantum communication, it promises truly secure networks, for information exchange.
Okay.
And it leverages this really bizarre phenomenon of quantum entanglement,
Okay.
where two particles they're linked in such a way that even if they're physically separated by like vast distances,
Right.
they still share the same fate.
Wow. Okay.
Any attempt to eavesdrop on the communication would instantly alter the state of the entangled particles,
Okay.
and it would alert both the sender and receiver that something's up.
So it's like having a built-in alarm system
Yeah.
that goes off if somebody tries to intercept the message.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why that would be so valuable, especially like in today's world where, cybersecurity is so important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But with all this talk about the potential of quantum technology, I mean, there are challenges too, right?
Of course, of course. Building these quantum computers, with thousands or even millions of qubits
Right.
and keeping them all stable, it's an incredible engineering feat.
Right.
And as we've been discussing, decoherence and decay,
They're tough.
they're formidable adversaries.
Yeah, but it seems like the progress being made in the field it's just astounding.
It really is.
Are there any like particular breakthroughs that have you especially excited about the future of quantum control?
Definitely, we're seeing some just incredible advances in areas like error correction
Okay.
techniques to detect and correct errors that inevitably kind of creep into these quantum computations and the development of new materials and fabrication methods.
Right.
This is allowing us to create qubits with longer coherence times and greater resistance to decoherence.
So we're not just getting better at like controlling these quantum states, we're also creating like better, more robust qubits to work with.
Exactly. It's like a two-pronged approach, you know?
Yeah, to conquering this quantum frontier.
Exactly, exactly. And as we're learning more about these quantum phenomena, we're also discovering new and kind of unexpected applications.
Like what?
Like, for example, some researchers believe that we might even be able to control biological processes
Biological
at the
processes.
molecular level using these quantum principles.
Hold on, are we talking about like slowing down aging or even reversing disease?
Well, it's definitely a very controversial topic,
Yeah.
and we're venturing into the realm of speculation here.
Right.
But some researchers, they believe that harnessing the power of quantum mechanics could lead to breakthroughs in fields like regenerative medicine and even extending lifespan.
Whoa, okay, now we're talking like science fiction becoming reality.
Yeah, yeah.
But seriously, like what's the basis for these claims? It sounds pretty, far out there.
Well, remember how we were talking about quantum decay being this like fundamental process in nature?
Right,
It
right.
turns out that a lot of biological processes, things like aging and cell death,
Okay.
they're actually influenced by quantum events at the molecular level.
Really?
Yeah, like things like electron transfer in DNA or the way that proteins fold, they can be affected by quantum phenomena like tunneling and superposition.
So you're saying that if we could somehow control those quantum events like within our cells, we could potentially influence these biological processes?
Yeah, that's the idea. I
Oh.
mean, it's still really early,
Sure.
and there's a lot more research that needs to be done.
Right.
But some scientists, they really believe that manipulating these quantum phenomena, like entanglement and superposition, within biological systems, this could open up entirely new avenues for medical treatment.
So it's like we're not just trying to build quantum computers anymore.
Yeah.
We're trying to like hack the code of life itself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's both incredibly exciting and kind of daunting to think about.
It is. It really is. Imagine a world where we could repair damaged tissues, like at the cellular level, regenerate organs, or even slow down the aging process. I mean, it sounds like science fiction.
It does.
But the seeds of this possibility, they're being planted, in labs all around the world.
It's mind-boggling to think about the implications, but it raises a lot of questions. I mean, if we're talking about potentially altering like the very fabric of human biology, I mean, we need to proceed really carefully.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the ethical considerations that we were talking about earlier, I
Right.
mean, they become even more crucial.
Yeah.
We need to have like open and honest conversations
Mhm.
about the potential risks and benefits of these technologies and who would have access to them. It's a responsibility that extends beyond just the scientific community.
Right.
It extends to society as a whole.
It's a powerful reminder that scientific progress, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. I mean, as we delve deeper into this quantum realm
Mhm.
and explore these incredible possibilities, I mean, we need to bring our values, our humanity with us.
I couldn't agree more. It's not just about what we can do, but what we should do.
Right.
And that requires careful consideration and thoughtful dialogue and a commitment to using these powerful tools for good, for the betterment of humanity.
Well said. So we've journeyed from this bizarre world of quantum decoherence and decay to these mind-blowing possibilities of quantum computing and sensing and communication, and even this potential for manipulating, biological processes.
It's been quite a journey.
What a wild ride.
Yeah, it really highlights just how much we're still discovering
Right.
about this quantum world and the just incredible potential that it holds.
Yeah.
We started by talking about how decoherence it's like waves washing away our attempts to write on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems like we're learning to not just write on the beach, but to shape the sand dunes themselves and maybe even influence the tides.
It's like we're becoming like active participants in the quantum world.
Yeah.
Like shaping its possibilities and harnessing its power in ways that we never even thought possible.
Exactly. And this journey of discovery,
Hmm.
it's only just begun.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I have one final question for you and for all of our listeners out there. What do you think the biggest impact of mastering quantum control will be? Will it be the revolution in computing, or the breakthroughs in medicine, or something else entirely? It's a question worth thinking about, as these technologies keep evolving. And who knows what other amazing discoveries are waiting for us out there in the quantum realm.